President Donald Trump pardoned more than 24 people, including former campaign chairman Paul Manafort and Charles Kushner, the father of his son in law, in the latest wave of clemency to benefit longtime associates and supporters. The actions in Trump's time at the White House bring to nearly 50 the number of people whom the president has granted clemency in the last week. Joining us now to talk more from Dallas, Texas, is Monique Peters. Monique, certainly the conversation about whether or not President Donald Trump was going to pardon anyone or who as he made it to the end of his term was something that was certainly a major conversation. And we can see here that it is happening.
Yes, it is happening. And, honestly, it's a very common thing for a president to do. A lot of them really speed up the pardons towards the end of their presidency. And they'll have the power to grant pardons and reprieves to who they feel like they want to grant them to. With the exception of what's in the confines of the Constitution, of course. Now, why it's such a news headline as far as what President Trump is doing when it comes to who he's pardoning is pretty interesting to me. As far as the number, it's actually gone up more towards the 90s now, and we expect to see him do even more in the next coming weeks, which isn't anything odd. We had President Obama that did 1,927 pardons, and almost all of them were for drug offenses. We had Bill Clinton who did 459. So, I mean, the number is really not that important. But what is interesting is the reasoning behind his pardons that he's choosing to do. We have people that are very close to him, business partners. Obviously, we have family members, Charles Kushner, who is the father of his son in law. So I think really that's where people are looking into things. But I think that President Trump is very focused on staying loyal to people who have been loyal to him and righting wrongs that have been done. I mean, we have Paul Manafort and Roger Stone, who were involved in the biggest witch hunt of all time, which was the Russian collusion, which no collusion has been proven to date. So, I don't know what the problem is with those two pardons. And Charles Kushner, he served his time, he paid his fines. He hasn't had any major offenses aside from his tax evasion, which he admitted to. So I personally don't see much of an issue with that. But then he also had such great pardons that he did. One of the most famous ones, Alice Johnson, who was,
Monique,
almost serving a
let me ask you this. Do you
Sure.
think that that there are many eyebrows raised on some of these pardons? You've mentioned some of the reasons why some of the pardons are happening, and some of the people, and certainly former President Barack Obama has done some pardons. But as you have mentioned, some of these are unique in nature because of who they are, the timing, and also the things that they are being pardoned for. Do you think that many people have their eyebrows raised on, at this moment with all of the pardons that President Donald Trump is making?
I think they more so have their eyebrows raised on why he's pardoning and who he's pardoning. But we soon forget that, like, I go back to Bill Clinton, for instance. Okay. He pardoned Mark Rich, who was an associate of his, who was on the FBI 10 most wanted list. Okay. He was known to do dealings with Iran. I mean, this guy is a real criminal. Then you have his brother that he pardoned. I can't remember his name. Roger Clinton. He pardoned his brother Roger Clinton, which was a family member. So, I mean,
Sure.
if you're going to do apples to apples, it's kind of pointless. But I think at this point, anything that President Trump does is going to be highly criticized. He could pardon a nun, and they would find something wrong
Absolutely.
with it. At this point.
Certainly, at the end of his term, the magnifying glass is on him, and just a few more days. But we'll be looking to see what else or who else, what other pardons are in place going forward. Monique, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Nietzsche.